I think you may. Where a handshake is our word, cattle are money, and timing is everything. Western Livestock is a family-owned and operated livestock auction and order buying company with more than 30 years of experience. The buying power in our seats ensures top dollar for your livestock to allow you to keep doing what you love. With sale barns in Oklahoma City, Comanche, and Woodward, Oklahoma, and Knoxville, Iowa, we're large enough to serve you, but small enough to know you. To learn more, call 940-631-2333 or visit westerncommissioncompany.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 12 million participants in America who take part in high school sports or activities.
All right, good afternoon. We're just about a little less, probably 10 minutes away from first pitch here for Game 3 between the Gruver Greyhounds and your Albany Lions. Albany will be the home team this afternoon for Game 3. We'll have some starting lineups for you here in just a little bit as the coaches are about to meet and exchange their lineup cards. If you missed yesterday's action, it's a tale of two different games. Albany taking game 1 10-0. They finished it off in 6 innings. Game 2, it was all Gruver as the Greyhounds jumped out on the lines early, and then were just able to tack on a few runs here and there as they went on to win game 2 8-2. So game 3, just less than 10 minutes away. Thanks for tuning in this morning to Albany Sports TX for Albany Lion Baseball. We'll be back. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with live action of game 3 here at Elk City. All right, we're back here live in Elk City. Just about a few minutes away from first pitch. Again, recap yesterday's action was the Lions, of course, taking game 1 behind the arm of Chip Chambers. He went 6 innings yesterday in game 1, pitched an outstanding ball game, only giving up 1 hit, had 12 strikeouts and 2 walks, but no runs for Chip yesterday. That 1 lone hit coming in the 5th inning. So we're just about to get going here. I think players are going to line up. We're going to have the national anthem here, so we're going to take a short break right here, and we'll be back for first pitch here at Oak City between the Lions and the Greyhounds. You're listening to Albany Live Baseball on Albany Sports TX. All right, we're just about set, so let's take a look at the lines. It's going to be Brody Oliver. He'll be on the mound this afternoon. He started game 2 and went just about, I think, a inning and 2/3 before he was pulled yesterday. So he's got several pitches left this afternoon, so he's going to get the start here in game 3. It'll be Clay Chapman behind the plate for the Lions. He also played catcher yesterday in game 2. Third base will be Wesley Gleets. Shortstop, Aiden Vickers. Second base, Mason McCloy. First base, Callan Fairchild. In the outfield, Woods Peterson will man left field. Chip Chambers in center. And Landon McKay will be the right fielder this afternoon. So, very similar lineup to what we saw at the beginning of game 2 yesterday. For the Greyhounds, it looks like they're going to lead off again. They did not make many changes to their batting lineup yesterday, so while I've not seen an official scorecard yet, I would assume that we'll see a very similar lineup with Satterfield leading off, Butler, followed by Cohen, Pittman, Jones, Cohen, Babs, Pittman, and Cudd, batting in that order. From the warm-ups, it looks like it's going to be position-wise for the Greyhounds this afternoon. For game 3 will be Satterfield, who will bat first, play shortstop. Butler will be the catcher. Cohen will play second base. Pittman will be the pitcher. Jones will take first base. Cohen will go back to his original spot from game 1 at third base. Babs, the center fielder. Pittman was the DH for Langford yesterday. And then Cudd was the left fielder. And we're just about set here for first pitch, as we're just about underway, and the first pitch is in there, and it's going to be a called strike. So Oliver's going to get this game started here with a strike. And that pitch is going to be grounded just foul, so Oliver doing a great job here of going ahead and getting ahead 0-2 here, get this game underway. Third pitch just off the plate, going to be fouled back by Satterfield. Back out of play, so If you were with us yesterday, we're here in Elk City, Oklahoma. This is a very beautiful ballpark. Quite a bit different temperatures this morning. Not as much sun. More of a breeze this morning and a little cooler weather. I'm sure the players would have taken this weather yesterday at 4 o'clock, because it was quite a bit different yesterday. Satterfield's going to foul that one. So still at 0-2 here. That pitch breaking ball going to be fouled down the third baseline, out of play. Of course, today's winner will take on the winner of the Ropes and Stanford series. They are actually in game 2 right now. Stanford took game 1. That pitch just off the plate. It'll be a ball. Stanford leading that game 3-1 in the bottom of the 4th right now. They took game 1 on Thursday. Pitch is in there. It's going to be fouled off the. Looks like it may have hit the batter. His foot right there. So. Satterfield, he was 0 for 3 in game 1 yesterday. Followed that up with a 2 for 4 outing in game 2. So while these are not the official results on whether at-bats were scored hits or errors or whatever it may be, going by what I've got in front of me, he was 2 for 7 yesterday. He's going to be swinging a miss. Ball hit the dirt. Chapman's going to have to throw over to Fairchild. Fairchild will step on the bag, and Lions will get their first out on a strikeout throwout. So that'll bring up the catcher, Butler. Butler 0 for 3 yesterday in game 1. Followed that up with a 1 for 4 outing in game 2. And it's going to be in there for a strike, and I'm not sure what's going on. We've got some loud sirens going off in the background. And home plate umpire is going to call both coaches. I don't know what type of siren that is. Of course, we are in Oklahoma, and was watching a little bit of the weather today, and they did have some tornado warnings in effect for this kind of east of this area, I should say. But not really sure what we got going on here. But I think both coaches kind of looking at each other, trying to figure out what's going on here. As again, being in a different state, let alone a different town, not really sure clear what that warning may be. As these are. Looks like it's kind of dying down now, but I think that'll probably try to startle everybody a little bit. I think we're going to, looks like the sirens have died down, and we're going to resume play here. Like I said, not really sure what that was, whether that was a test or a warning or what, but they got the attention of everybody here. So Brody's going to dig back in. He's ahead 0-1 here to Butler. Pitch is going to be fouled back out of play. 0-2. That ball's going to be grounded over to Gleets. Butler's running down first base line. He's going to pull Cowan off the base, but he keeps his foot. Does a good job right there. I see he had to go across the bag to catch that ball, and really did a good job of keeping his left foot on the bag. Not to mention the runner trying to get across.
Started at 58 today, right?
Yes, sir.
First pitch was 59?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So that'll be 2 outs here to begin this game, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Cohen. Cohen was one of the more productive batters for the Greyhounds yesterday. He was 0 for 1 in game 1, but drew 2 walks. 2 of the 3 base runners that Chambers surrendered yesterday in game 1. And then followed that up with a 3 for 4 outing. And Oliver's done a good job right here coming after him. He's 0-2 right now. And that ball's just going to be off the plate. Nice location there for Oliver, just trying to see if he can get Cohen to fish at a pitch out of the zone. And that's going to be hit towards Vickers. Vickers, that's going to be a tough play either way. That ball took Vickers quite a few steps to his right. He tried to backhand it. I don't know if he'd have had a play at first or not, whether he did come up with that ball. That was going to be a tough play moving away from to his right. So that'll be an infield single for Cohen, and that'll bring up the pitcher Pittman. Pittman yesterday was 0 for 2 in game 1, 0 for 2 with 2 walks in game 2. That first pitch is going to be a ball, 1-0. Did not see a lot of stealing yesterday by the ground. That ball's dribbled over to Oliver. Oliver steps off the mound, throws over to Fairchild, digs it out of the ground. Great jig right there by Fairchild, and a good start right here for Oliver as he's going to get that. They're going to strand the runner. The Greyhounds get 1 hit. They leave 1 on base. We're headed to the bottom of the first. You're listening to Albany Line Baseball on Albany Sports TX. Located on Highway 283 South, Easy Feed and Supply is your hometown headquarters for complete animal nutrition. We carry lawn and garden, hunting and fishing supplies, along with wildlife and pet feed. Let us load you up in our drive-through warehouse. Need something delivered? We can come to you with our blower buggy to fill your corn and protein feeders, along with delivery of sacked feed and round or square bales of hay. Not only does Easy Feed have all your farming and ranching supplies, it's now the proud home of Parsons Beef, where you can get your prime Wagyu and Angus beef straight from our Texas ranches. Easy Feed and Supply, proudly serving Albany since 2011.
Who's pitching for them? Tim?
We're back here for the bottom half of the first inning. It's going to be Pittman on the mound for the Greyhounds here in game 3. Pittman, of course, was the catcher in game 1. He played third base in game 2. Butler, saw him yesterday. He played a little bit of shortstop. He pitched a little bit. He played second a little bit. Now he's going to catch. So this is the third catcher the Greyhounds have had behind the plate in this series. And Vickers is going to get the line started here this afternoon. Vickers 0 for 4 in game 1. He was 2 for 4 in game 2. First pitch, Vickers going to send that one foul and out of play. So 0-1 here to Vickers. Vickers, of course, he 2 for 8 yesterday. Every ball was put in play. Something we talked about quite a bit yesterday was he does do a good job of putting the bat on the ball, making the defense make plays. That pitch is just on the corner for a strike, 0-2 here to Vickers. And he's going to send this one down the right field line. Out of play there, so keeping this bat alive here as he battles 0-2. And swing and strike. It's going to hit the dirt. I'm not sure. It looked like they tagged him. And either way, there's going to be a strikeout throw out for the Greyhounds for the first out. She'll bring up Callan Fairchild, the first baseman for the Lions. Of course, in Game 3, you never know for sure what a team has left in terms of pitching. Typically, you see teams in the playoffs, they'll pitch a 1, a 2, and maybe a third guy here and there. But if they haven't been to a third game, which I don't believe either team has seen a third game in the playoffs thus far, you're probably getting into some guys that haven't been on the mound in a while, as Pittman has worked an 0-2 count to Fairchild here. And that ball's going to be fouled back to the backstop. So I know for the Lions, as Oliver had a short outing yesterday, they are going with their number 2 today. Pittman, I would assume that he's probably their number 3 option, even though we did see Butler close out both games yesterday. Fouled over to the third base coaching box. Fairchild tried to get a hand on it, just missed it. And again, like I said, it's Game 3s. You just don't know exactly how long it's been since some of these guys have stepped on the mound and pitched, or how much they have pitched. A lot of times you'll see some Game 3s have quite a few runs scored. Fairchild's going to foul that one off, and that one headed towards the third base dugout. I know for the Lions, it was the first time I think we've seen Vickers as he pitched in Game 2 a little bit. Callan Fairchild pitched a little bit in Game 2 as well. And that's going to be a strikeout. That hits the dirt as Fairchild's going to run over. He's going to be thrown out. So 2 strikeouts here for Pittman to start the game, as both Vickers and Fairchild have been retired by strikeout. As Chambers is going to step in. Chambers was 0 for 2 in Game 1. He did have 2 walks, and then had a real big game in Game 2, 3 for 4. One of the things when you looked at all the hits that the Lions were able to get yesterday in the game number 2, it was kind of amazing. I think we recorded maybe 5 or 6 hits in Game 1, and we scored 10 runs. We have right at 10 hits, maybe 11, depending on how you score it. In Game 2, when we scored 2 runs. So baseball can be kind of funny sometimes, and you can put the ball in play, get a lot of hits, but never scratch across any runs. And then there's games where you get a few hits, but you get a few walks, a few errors your way, and then all of a sudden you put up a bunch of runs. So it's kind of a tell of 2 different stories there for the Lions in that first and second game. That ball is going to be high, so 3-1 count here to Chambers. I think if you were to look at the stat lines, you would have thought it would have been completely the opposite. And swing and miss right there for Chambers, so full count here with 2 outs in the bottom half of this first inning. And it's going to be a strikeout. So Lions are going to go down 1-2-3 in the bottom half of the first inning. We've played 1, score 0-0. You're listening to Albany Lion Baseball on Albany Sports TX.
In 2006, there was a vision, and that vision became a reality when the feed store opened its doors in 2012. The feed store is a place where students are fed both mentally and physically. We hold several events throughout the year, along with Tuesday lunches for all juniors and seniors during the school year. We host the famous Running Man event on the last Saturday of October for all junior and senior high students, along with worship nights on the last Wednesday of every month. Our mission is simple. We are a non-denominational youth mission facility where the youth of Albany and surrounding areas have a safe and supervised place to play, study, and relax.
All right, we're back here for the top of the second. And it's going to be the first baseman, Jones, stepping in for the Greyhounds. He was 0 for 2 in game 1. He was 2 for 2 with 2 walks in game 2. He had that big RBI double in that first inning yesterday. That one's ripped over to Gleats. He's going to stab it. So quick 1 pitch, 1 out here to start the top of the second. And I'm sure if you're Coach Fairchild, that's the kind of at-bats you're looking for. With Oliver coming in, already thrown nearly 60 pitches before this game even started, so only 50 to work with. You're going to take as many quick at-bats as possible to try to see how far you can take Oliver into this game. And that's going to bring up the third baseman, Cohen. Bats from the left side. Cohen 0 for 2 in game 1 yesterday. He was 1 for 2 with 2 walks in game 2. That first pitch strike by Oliver. And that's going to be off the plate and just a little bit outside. And again, as we talked about with Oliver's pitch count, you have to wonder if he's going to try to just really pound the zone right here and try to let his defense work for him. Instead of trying to work a lot of strikeouts, instead try to go after these guys and see if he can't get some quick at-bats as he tries to work as many innings as possible for the Lions. 2-2 count here, swing and a miss by Cohen. Still no word on what the sirens were earlier. And swing and a miss. Ball's going to hit the dirt. They're going to throw over to Fairchild. He'll step on the bag over there. And so 2 quick outs here for Oliver. And that'll bring up the center fielder, Babs. Babs 0 for 2 in game 1, 1 for 3 in game 2. I think he might have drew a walk in game 2 as well. First pitch swinging, fouled back. Pretty decent crowd here again this afternoon, as many fans have stuck around for game 3 of this series. And a nice pitch right there by Oliver. A breaking ball thrown away from the batter and just stayed right there on the edge of the plate. 0-2 count here. Not sure really what the population of Elk City is, but pretty nice little town here. And a really nice ballpark here at Ackley Park. As we talked about a little bit yesterday, all the different things that surround this ballpark. Failed to mention that there's a putt-putt golf course on the backside of us as well. So a water park, putt-putt. That's going to be a swing and a miss. So Oliver's going to go 1-2-3 here. He gets 2 strikeouts and a line out. We're headed to the bottom half of the second inning. You're listening to Albany Line Baseball on Albany Sports TX.
Where a handshake is our word, cattle are money, and timing is everything. Western Livestock is a family-owned and operated livestock auction and order buying company with more than 30 years of experience. The buying power in our seats ensures top dollar for your livestock to allow you to keep doing what you love. With sale barns in Oklahoma City, Comanche, and Woodward, Oklahoma, and Knoxville, Iowa, we're large enough to serve you, but small enough to know you. To learn more, call 940-631-2333 or visit westerncommissioncompany.com.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite.
I get her! Not solo!
You saying I did?
Yeah!
Come on! What's wrong with you?
All right, we're back here for the bottom half of the second inning, as the Lions are going to be batting with Oliver, Chapman, and Gleitz. Pittman worked a 1-2-3 first inning. He struck out all three, so Lions still looking for their first base runner here this afternoon. As Oliver's going to step in, he was 0 for 1 with 3 walks in game 1. 0 for 3 with another walk in game 2. So he walked 4 times yesterday in 8 plate appearances. That ball's going to be inside. Ball 1. And that's going to be in there for a strike, so 1-1 count here. Seemed like multiple times yesterday Oliver got down 0-2 and got deep into the counts and able to get a couple of walks. That ball's hit over to second baseman Cohen. He's going to throw over to Jones and being out. So Oliver's going to ground out to the second baseman Cohen, and that'll bring up the catcher, Clay Chapman. Chapman had a big afternoon yesterday. 4 for 8 total. Driven several runs. 3 for 4 in game 1, 1 for 4 in game 2. He's going to first pitch swinging right there. Foul that one back to the backstop. So he was seeing the ball very well yesterday and did a lot of damage at the plate. Second pitch swinging, that's fouled back. Looks like that's headed to the parking lot or the lake. Well, got a little. Not being the water hole, but behind us. And that's going to catch the inside part of the plate. That'll be a 4th strikeout for Pittman. That'll bring up Gleitz. Gleitz, not to be outdone, he was also 4 for 8. He did most of his damage in game 2. 1 for 4 in game 1, 3 for 4 in game 2 yesterday. 4 out of 8 at the plate. He steps in with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. That's first pitch strike right off the plate right there. And that one's fouled back. I don't think Jones is going to have much room over there to work, even though there is quite a bit of foul territory. It seems like when the ball gets up in these, if it's anything like yesterday, anytime the ball got up, it just continued to travel. Very few balls were caught in foul territory yesterday. 0-2 count to Gleitz. He's going to foul this one back. So he hangs in there. Again, Gleitz playing third base. He's man third base for the most part. That ball's hit over to the third baseman, Cohen. He's going to throw over, and a bang-bang play right there. Nice pick right there by Jones, the first baseman. So Lions are going to go down 1-2-3. We're headed to the top of the third. You're listening to Albany Line Baseball on Albany Sports TX. Located on Highway 283 South, Easy Feed and Supply is your hometown headquarters for complete animal nutrition. We carry lawn and garden, hunting and fishing supplies, along with wildlife and pet feed. Let us load you up in our drive-through warehouse. Need something delivered? We can come to you with our blower buggy to fill your corn and protein feeders, along with delivery of sacked feed and round or square bales of hay. Not only does Easy Feed have all your farming and ranching supplies, it's now the proud home of Parsons Beef, where you can get your prime Wagyu and Angus beef straight from our Texas ranches. Easy Feed and Supply, proudly serving Albany since 2011. All right, we're back here for the top of the third. Greyhounds will have the DH Pittman, followed by Cutt, and then back to the top of Satterfield. Oliver working right now. He's got 85 pitches total, so he's got about 25 pitches left to work with. As they continue to stretch him out and try to see how far he can go into this game. First pitch is going to be grounded over toward Vickers. Vickers is going to come up, make a play, and they're going to say that maybe Fairchild's foot was off the bag. From our angle, it looked like it did come off the bag just a little bit, but he tried to get it back on the bag before Pittman got there. Pittman really took a long time to get down there. I don't know if he thought it was going to be as close of a play at first, but we'll see. They're going to check with, looks like they're all going to come together and talk about it a little bit, see if anybody saw something different. Yeah, they're going to call him safe, so it was a pretty close play. That's one of those that maybe if you had a camera able to review it, maybe you could change something like that, but that's just too tough of a call to change after it's already been called like that. So they're going to stick with the call as Cudd's going to come in, and this is exactly what we saw in Game 2 when the Greyhounds get a batter on with no outs or even one out. They like to square up and bunt, so no surprise to see Cudd's going to square up this time. He's going to bunt this one foul, so he's down 0-2. I don't expect to see that he'll stay with the bunt call here. So 0-2 count. Pittman over at first. And that's just going to be off the plate for a ball. So 1-2 count here to Cudd. And that's going to get away from Chapman. Two and 2 count here, and that was just off the plate right there. And Pittman's going to jog over to second base, so the Greyhounds will have a runner in scoring position for Cudd. He's going to send that one over the top of McCloy. It's going to get down in front of McKay. McKay kind of bobbles a little bit. They're going to hold the runner at third. Pittman doesn't look like a guy that probably possesses just a ton of speed, and he was not rounding third base with intentions of scoring, so they end up holding him up even though there was a little bobble out there in right field. And that'll bring up the shortstop Satterfield. So runners at the corner here for the Greyhounds with no outs. As Satterfield steps in. First pitch swing in down the third baseline. That's going to be well out of play. It's actually going to get the top of the shed over there. So Cudd over at first. He's going to get a pretty good size lead. Be interested to see if Oliver doesn't check him out over here and see if he doesn't throw over. Breaking ball, Satterfield fouls it back. So 0-2 count here to Satterfield. Was interested to see if the Greyhounds would try to move Cudd over to second base on maybe a double steel top play, but he stayed pretty close to first as that ball's off the plate. 1-2 count. I'm assuming with Pittman over at third that they feel like they don't really want to give up an out with no outs. He's going to off and run in here. No throw from Chapman, so kind of what I was expecting earlier in the count by Cudd. As he moves over to second base, and now runners are at second and third with no outs, and Satterfield 2-2 count. Going to dribble one over to third base. Gleitz is going to make the play, throws him out. And Cud's going to stay at second. Pittman does score. So the Greyhounds are going to get the first run of the afternoon. And that'll bring up the catcher, Butler. Cud still at second base. Butler grounded out back in the first. Another interesting thing is if they bunt here again. They showed the bunt. That's not going to be a bunt. He's going to nod this one over to Peterson. Takes a big hop. Kind of waved him like he might send him right there. And Butler is going to round first. Never slowed down. And he's going to be in the second. So we're going to have a mound visit here by Coach Fairchild. We'll take it with them. You're listening to Albany Line Baseball on Albany Sports TX. All right, so Coach Fairchild's headed back over to the dugout as we're going to talk about how they want to play this right here. So Cut over at third base, Butler at second. That's going to bring up the second baseman, Cohen. Cohen singled in the first. He's been one of the tougher outs for the Greyhounds. He's 3 for 4 yesterday in game 2, drew 2 walks in game 1, so. And that pitch looks like it's going to be just low. 2-0. So 2-0 count here to Cohen. And swinging, he's going to hit this one towards the shortstop. And they're going to throw him out. Vickers throws out Cohen. As Butler moves over to third base, Greyhounds are going to get their second run of the afternoon. And that'll bring up the pitcher, Pittman. Pittman grounded out back into first. First pitch swing and a miss. That one's going to be fouled back out of play. So 1-2 count here for Oliver. Oliver got 2 outs right here. It's a good time to take a deep breath and come after this batter right here and try to get out of this inning with no further damage. And ball's hit over towards McCloy. McCloy bobbles it a little bit, but he's going to recover, throw him out first base. So the Greyhounds are going to score 2. They leave 1 on. We're headed to the bottom of the third. You're listening to Albany Line Baseball on Albany Sports TX.
Where a handshake is our word, cattle are money, and timing is everything. Western Livestock is a family-owned and operated livestock auction and order buying company with more than 30 years of experience. The buying power in our seats ensures top dollar for your livestock to allow you to keep doing what you love. With sale barns in Oklahoma City, Comanche, and Woodward, Oklahoma, and Knoxville, Iowa, we're large enough to serve you, but small enough to know you. To learn more, call 940-631-2333 or visit westerncommissioncompany.com.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start?
Here, in the classroom.
On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great. Participate!
All right, we're back here for the bottom half of the third inning. Lions trail 2-0. As it's going to be Peterson, Piquet, and McCloy due up for the Lions. Pittman thus far has seen 6, struck out 4, got 2 to ground out. So Lions still looking for their first base runner this afternoon. Peterson had that big hit in game 1 that capped off the 10-0 victory for the Lions. As he steps in, first pitch will be a called strike. Second pitch swinging, that's fouled. That's very well hit off the top of the concession stand batting cage area. I'd like to see him straighten that out. That was a well hit ball. Third pitch swinging and may have been at the top of the zone, and be a strikeout of Peterson as McKay's going to jog out for his first at bat. McKay plays right field for the Lions. He was 0 for 3 in both games yesterday. He's going to see a first pitch strike here. So he looks for his first hit of the series. And second pitch is going to be a called strike. That's the pitch we saw yesterday. And sometimes you hear some gremlins and sometimes you hear some cheers depending on which side you're yelling for. Swinging that foul back. Okay, doing a good job keeping this bat alive. So it's headed towards the street here. And that ball's going to be high, so good eye right there by K. That's a tough pitch to lay off as it was right there in the middle of the zone, but above the numbers. And it'll be a swing and a miss from McKay. So 2 outs here in the bottom half of the third. That's going to bring up second baseman McCloy. And actually, it looks like Coach Fairchild's chosen to go with Keene here to bat for McCloy. McCloy was 0 for 5 with a walk yesterday, so going to give Sean Keene an opportunity here. He was a courtesy runner yesterday for Oliver. Saw him several times in both game 1 and game 2 as he bats from the left side. And it's going to be a swing and 1-1 count here for Keene. And that pitch is going to be off the plate. 2-1 count here to Keene. And swing and a miss right there. 2-2 count. Keene trying to get something going here for the Lions. They again trying to get a guy on base here as Vickers is on deck over there, top of the lineup. And that ball is going to be just on the corner. They're going to get a called third strike. So the Lions are going to go down 1-2-3. We're headed to the top of the fourth. You're listening to Albany Lion Baseball on Albany Sports TX.
We're the bank you've always known and trusted, a part of your community for generations. And now, First National Bank of Albany Breckenridge is Clear Fork Bank. We're still privately owned and independent. You'll find the same dedicated team, the same friendly faces, and the same strong relationships with our customers. Our offerings have expanded to better serve you, but our commitment to local banking is steadfast. Clear Fork Bank, serving Texans since 1883.
We're back here, just about to get the top half of the fourth inning underway as the Greyhounds are going to be Led off by the first baseman Jones, followed by Cohen and Babs. Jones lined out back in the second inning. He's 0 for 1 on the afternoon. Oliver got a few pitches left here, so I think Coach Fairchild's going to see if he can get at least one at bat, maybe two, out of Oliver before he heads to his bullpen. First pitch swinging by Jones, going to be ripped to Peterson, and he's going to catch it. So that's, if that's what you're looking for Fairchild, that's what you're going to get. One pitch, one out. So he's worked 3 1/3 for sure. And looks like my camera just may have gotten bumped. So I'm going to try and check and see what's going on there. And it looks like maybe it's coming back for us here. And there we go. So it looks like somebody may have bumped our system there. Sorry for that. So 2-0 count here for Oliver. Yep, somebody's definitely messed with it. All right, apologize for that. We had our camera bumped down low, and so I think we've got it reset and back there. So try to get you caught up if you didn't see what just happened. That was Cohen, and he's going to triple to deep center. And that's going to be it for Oliver, as the Lions are going to go to their bullpen here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. You're listening to Albany Lion Baseball on Albany Sports CX.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite.
My kid heard that solo!
You saying I did?
Yeah!
Come on! What's wrong with you?
Located on Highway 283 South, Easy Feed and Supply is your hometown headquarters for complete animal nutrition. We carry lawn and garden, hunting and fishing supplies, along with wildlife and pet feed. Let us load you up in our drive-through warehouse. Need something delivered? We can come to you with our blower buggy to fill your corn and protein feeders, along with delivery of sacked feed and round or square bales of hay. Not only does Easy Feed have all your farming and ranching supplies, it's now the proud home of Parsons Beef, where you can get your prime Wagyu and Angus beef straight from our Texas ranches. Easy Feed and Supply, proudly serving Albany since 2011. All right, we're back here in this top half of the fourth inning as the Lions have gone into their bullpen, and it's going to be the freshman, Clay Chapman, going to take over on the mound for the Lions as him and Oliver are just going to switch places here. Oliver wraps up his day going 3 1/3 here. Gives up 2 runs. Chapman, another guy that we saw quite a bit of early in the season and throughout the district season here and there. Really has a strong arm, and so just been a few weeks since we've seen him on the mound in a game, as the Lions have not had to use much of their pitching depth throughout the playoffs thus far. So Chapman's going to take over for the Lions as Babs, the center fielder, will be due up for the Greyhounds, with Cohen having a triple in a previous at bat. And I apologize, the camera reset itself for some reason. Tried to get that going before he during that at bat. So we're back here. Hopefully everything stays where it should be. And Babs is going to step in with 1 out here. And, of course, again, Cohen over at third base. The Greyhounds lead 2-0 here in the top half of the 4th inning. First pitch is going to be high and inside. Ball 1. And that pitch is going to catch for a nice location right there for Chapman. That's a pitch that he's going to try to replicate. That's a nice spot right there from Chapman on that edge. 1-1 count. Going to be just a little bit low. Looked like he was trying to go back to that same spot. Just left it down a little bit. 2-1. And pitch is going to be hit towards Chambers. That's going to get down in front of Chambers. He's going to one-hop it, come up throwing. Chapman's going to cut it off. And the Greyhounds are going to score that run from third base, as Babs is going to have an RBI single. And that's going to bring up the DH Pittman. With 1 out here, Pittman singled his last at bat, which was in the 3rd inning when they were able to get 2 runs. He was one of the guys that came across. Oh, 1 count here to Pittman. Not much of a lead by Babs over there at first. Throw down to first as Fairchild's going to block that. It kind of got into the dirt. I think it caught him off guard. Caught Fairchild off guard a little bit there. I don't think he was expecting a throw over from Oliver, but Babs had kind of got quite a bit of a lead there. Wasn't really in a hurry to get back, so Oliver thought he'd see if he could get him right there. That ball's going to be low in the dirt. Another throw over. This time Fairchild was ready for it, but just a little bit late. So 1-2 count here to Pittman. And that ball is just going to be a little bit low. Breaking ball, that's going to be in there for a call, 3rd strike. So really nice pitch right there by Chapman. He caught Pittman, was not ready for that breaking ball, had not seen that breaking ball. That a nice pitch, just froze him right there. It's going to bring up Cudd. He singled back in the 3rd inning as well, later score. That ball's in the dirt for ball 1. Breaking ball Chapman threw a while ago was a very nice pitch. Love to see that one again. He's going to throw over to first right there. I will tell you one thing. If anything else, I expect that the runners better stay close, because Chapman will have a good pickoff move. I watched his brother Cole for several years. Just bait those runners into getting a little bit bigger of a lead, and then he would throw over and several pickoffs in his Albany line career. Yeah, they both did a great job of keeping those runners close to the bag. And there's that breaking ball we talked about. So 2-2 count here to Cud. 2 outs. Try to keep that runner over there at first and get out of this inning with minimal damage. And that ball's going to be fouled back out of play. As the sun starts to peek out just a little bit, you can see the guys starting to brush off a little bit of sweat. Again, this was a very cool morning here in Elk City. A lot of pretty much overcast all morning, and it seems like it's starting to clear out a little bit. Runners off, swing and a miss, strike 3. So Chapman comes in, gets a couple of strikeouts here. The Greyhounds are able to get one across. We're headed to the bottom of the 4th. You're listening to Albany Line Baseball on Albany Sports TX. Located on Highway 283 South, Easy Feed and Supply is your hometown headquarters for complete animal nutrition. We carry lawn and garden, hunting and fishing supplies, along with wildlife and pet feed. Let us load you up in our drive-through warehouse. Need something delivered? We can come to you with our blower buggy to fill your corn and protein feeders, along with delivery of sacked feed and round or square bales of hay. Not only does Easy Feed have all your farming and ranching supplies, it's now the proud home of Parsons Beef, where you can get your prime Wagyu and Angus beef straight from our Texas ranches. Easy Feed and Supply, proudly serving Albany since 2011. All right, so we're back here for the bottom half of this 4th inning. And looks like the Stanford Ropes game has just gone final as the Bulldogs have won 4-1. A game-ending double play right there. So winner of today's game is going to be facing the Stanford Bulldogs next week. As Pittman's going to face Vickers here to get this 4th inning started. Vickers struck out back in the first time he's not put the ball in play. And Pittman's going to start him out 0-1. This one's hit towards the first baseman, but right at him. Lions have had a few hit balls this afternoon, but they just can't find a hole. As that'll bring up Callum Fairchild. He also struck out back in the first. And that one's going to be called a ball. So 1-0 count here to Fairchild. Again, Lions looking for their first base runner right now. Pittman through the first 3 innings had 7 strikeouts and 2 groundouts, so he's kept the Lions off the bases. Something that has been tough to do throughout the playoffs this year, and the Lions, of course, possess quite a bit of speed. Once they do get on the bases, they like to run. That ball hits really slow. They're going to charge third base in the dirt, and a really nice play over there by the first baseman. As Cohen threw that one, it actually took 2 bounces. It didn't look like it came out of his hands very well, as it took a hard bounce and then another bounce, and the first baseman, Jones, was able to pick it out. And Fairchild was getting down the first baseline very well and just about beat that throw. Chambers is going to step in. He's 0 for 1 on the afternoon. And going to be a first pitch Swing and a miss right there, 0-1. And swing and a miss. The Chambers 0-2 here. So the Lions are putting the ball on the ground here in this fourth inning. Just that ball swung on, missed, but the catcher's going to catch it. And there's might be a little bit of discussion here. I thought that ball hit the ground, but it looks like they're going to say that he dug it out before it did. And it looks they're going to stick with the call there. So that's going to be a third pitch strikeout. And so we're headed to the top of the fifth. Lions trail 3-0. You're listening to Albany Line Baseball on Albany Sports TX.
In 2006, there was a vision, and that vision became a reality when the feed store opened its doors in 2012. The feed store is a place where students are fed both mentally and physically. We hold several events throughout the year, along with Tuesday lunches for all juniors and seniors during the school year. We host the famous Running Man event on the last Saturday of October for all junior and senior high students, along with worship nights on the last Wednesday of every month. Our mission is simple. We are a non-denominational youth mission facility where the youth of Albany and surrounding areas have a safe and supervised place to play, study, and relax.
All right, we're back here for the top half of the fifth inning. Lions trail 3-0. Chapman's back up on the mound for the Lions as the Greyhounds are going to have the top of their order up for this fifth inning, as it'll be Satterfield, Butler, and Cohen. Satterfield, he's 0 for 2 on their afternoon. He did have a fielder's choice, which resulted in a RBI in the third inning. And they were able to get 2 runs. And that pitch is going to be low, ball 1. And that ball is going to hit Satterfield in the back. So he'll jog down to first. And that'll bring up the catcher, Butler. And you'll be interested to see here what the Greyhounds will like to do. Again, we talked about this in game 2. Didn't see it much at all because of the lack of base runners, but they like to start bunting with no outs when they get early runners. And with your second hitter up, maybe a little different strategy here. And runners off right there. Brody, unfortunately, that ball was low, and he didn't just pick it clean. And Satterfield's going to head to second there with no throw. So Satterfield's over at second. Butler stands in, 1-1 count. Pitch by Chapman, and he's going to show bunt. Throw down to McCloy, doing a great job right there. Oliver throwing down behind Satterfield right there. McCloy did a good job of making sure that ball didn't get into center field. 1-2 count to Butler. He's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. He doubled last time up. That ball's hit back behind us. And that pitch is going to be low and in the dirt for ball 2. So 2-2 count here. Chapman trying to keep Butler off the bases here. See if he can't get a big strikeout. Following that walk to start this inning off. Nice breaking ball, but Butler Was able to hang with it right there, and he fouls this one back behind the first base dugout. Cohen on deck for the Greyhounds. Pitch from Chapman. And I'm going to say that was just low. Location looked pretty good in terms of where it was at, but must have been just a little bit low. And that ball's going to get inside, and there it hits Butler. And Butler's going to jog down to first with a walk. So 2 walks here for the Greyhounds to start this inning. That'll bring up the second baseman, Cohen. He's 1 for 2. He singled into first, grounded into a fielder's choice in the third. And Chapman trying to get that corner that we've talked about, but just a little bit outside, 1-0. So Satterfield over at second. Butler, throw back over to Satterfield. Try to get Satterfield. It's not going to be caught right there by McCloy, but ball does not get away, so no runners are going to move. This is one of those times where Tony would call for a double play ball. And seen it happen a few times this year. So, Tony, I don't know if you're listening or not, but I'd appreciate you if you'd put that call in right now. The Lions trying to get out of this inning. Keep this a 3-run ball game. That ball's just going to be off the plate, ball 3. So 3-0 count here to Cohen. Probably going to be a full take here. That ball's going to hit the dirt. It's going to be to the backstop, but it's not going to matter as the runners were going to be moving on the ball for a walk. And Coach Fairchild is headed out to the mound. So we're going to take a short break with them. You're listening to Albany Line Baseball on Albany Sports TX. All right, so we're back here after the mound visit. Chapman's going to stay on the mound for the Lions here. The bases are loaded with no outs, and it's going to bring in the pitcher, Pittman. He's 0 for 2 on the afternoon. The Lions have moved their infield in. So they try to keep Greyhounds from scoring here. Throw over to first, even though we're not holding the runner out there, so I'm not real sure. Playing there, first pitch, and it's going to be in there for a called strike. So nice pitch right there by Chapman. And the entire infield for the Lions has moved into the grass. Second pitch fouled back. 0-2. So 0-2 count here for Chapman. Breaking ball, got a swing and a miss. And a big first out for the Lions. See if they'll adjust the depth of their infield. They're going to stay in right here. This is going to bring up the first baseman, Jones. Jones 0 for 2 on the afternoon with the line out and a pop out. First pitch swinging, strike. Jones coming off a strong game number 2. And just going to be outside. Nice stop right there from Oliver, as he tries to make sure that that ball doesn't get away with all the room behind the catcher. A pass ball is, you're pretty much guaranteed at least one base. Swing and pops it up. Fairchild going to drop back about 5 or 6 steps out of play. And
what just happened?
not real sure what just happened. Is that ball, I'm not sure if the ball hit something or not. It's going to be a strike, 1-2 count. But Fairchild, the ball hit well in play. I mean, really close to him, but I'm not sure what happened. Not sure if it hit something or what, but Fairchild was going after it, and then he stopped, and the ball just hit. So 1-2 count here. As that ball nearly hits Jones as he ducks out of the way, and so luckily for Clay, he ducked out of the way. I think the coach over there is telling him to stay in there because 1-2 count. He's headed over to first. That ball was going to hit him in the shoulder. So 2-2 count here for Chapman. And tries that breaking ball again just off the plate. So full count with 1 out. Lines. Chapman trying to pitch out of a jam here. Off the plate, that's going to be a strike 3 call. Nice spot. That's the one that we were not able to do anything with yesterday. And a big strikeout for Chapman, his second in a row. And that's going to bring up the third baseman, Cohen. And lines move back to regular depth here as they just need 1 out. That ball, nice stop right there by Oliver. That was in the dirt. Chapman tries to pitch around those 3 walks. It's going to be fouled back to the backstop, 1-1. And I think that might have got Brody's hand or arm right there. Coach Fairchild's going to walk out and check on him here. So he kind of shakes that off. Home plate umpire is going to walk over and grab a few balls, talk to the guy. Just kind of give Brody a minute to regroup right here. So it looks like Brody's good to go, and Cohen will step back in. 1-1 count, 2 outs. Bases are loaded. We've got Satterfield, Butler, and Cohen on the bases right now for the Greyhounds. That ball is going to be fouled back out of play. 1-2. Chapman 1 pitch away from pitching out of this bases loaded jam. Cohen's going to call for time here. Not real sure that the runner's thinking that they may have called a balk. There was no balk called. The batter called time, and then all of a sudden the guy at third base jogged down. I don't know if he thought they said balk, but either way, they're going to jog back down. We're going to reset here.
Come on, Clay.
1-2 count. And that ball's hit towards Weeks. He's going to glove it, step on third, and Chapman has pitched around a jam. A great job right there by Clay Chapman. The lines walk 3. No runs across. The Greyhounds leave 3. We're headed to the bottom of the 5th. Lines down 3-0. You're listening to Albany Line Baseball on Albany Sports TX.
Where a handshake is our word, cattle are money, and timing is everything. Western Livestock is a family-owned and operated livestock auction and order buying company with more than 30 years of experience. The buying power in our seats ensures top dollar for your livestock to allow you to keep doing what you love. With sale barns in Oklahoma City, Comanche, and Woodward, Oklahoma, and Knoxville, Iowa, we're large enough to serve you, but small enough to know you. To learn more, call 940-631-2333 or visit westerncommissioncompany.com.
All right, we're back here in the bottom half of this fifth inning as the Lions again right now looking for their first base runner of the afternoon. And I tell you, if they're looking for some momentum, that last inning, Chapman pitching around a 3-walk, bases loaded jam with no outs. If you're looking for something, build off that. That's what the Lions need to do right now. They need to get this going as Oliver, Chapman, and Gleitz will be due up for the Lions. Right now, Pittman's faced 12 and retired 12. He's got 8 strikeouts through 4 innings. So Oliver looking to put one in play and get this Lions going here. First pitch here to Oliver, swung on and missed. Strike one. Second pitch, swing and a miss right there. So strike two. See Oliver there trying to get something started here, being aggressive here early in the count. Swung on, hit towards third. Third baseman gloves it, throws over to first. Jones is going to have it. And the Lions are, Oliver's going to ground out to get this inning started. And that's going to bring up the pitcher, Chapman. Chapman 0 for 1 on the afternoon. Looking to try to get back into that groove he was in yesterday. He had a big afternoon yesterday in games 1 and 2. Swung on, that's hit towards the third baseline, but that's going to drift well foul and out of play. Going to step back in here as everybody's back into their positions. 0-1 count. Swung on, hit down the first baseline, but out of play there. So 0-2 count. Pittman really hasn't messed around. He's pretty much come after every batter the Lions have sent to the plate. He's not trying to work through long counts. He's pretty much coming after them, pitch by pitch. That ball's being fouled back. Pitch is in there. Chapman's going to hit that one towards over the head of short. That's down. And that ball is far to go travel. Chapman rounds first. He's headed to second. Throw him to second. It's going to be late. And Chapman is going to be in with a stand-up double as the Lions now have their first base runner. A nice piece of hitting right there on an 0-2 count by Chapman as he worked the ball the other way. And that's going to bring up the third baseman, Gleitz, again. He had a big afternoon yesterday, so Lions trying to get something going here in the bottom half of this fifth inning. And that pitch is going to be a called strike. 0-1 to Gleitz. Chapman getting a little bit of a lead off second there. Gleitz going to hit this one. This could be down. It's over the head of the shortstop. Clay's headed to third. No throw. So the Lions have now stacked back-to-back hits. As Gleitz is going to have a single followed by, after Chapman's double, So the Lions now have runners at the corners with Peterson up. Peterson 0 for 1 on the afternoon. And great opportunity right here to do some damage and try to get Lions on the board here. First pitch, swinging to the third baseman's going to glove it. He's going to go for the out, but he's not going to pull. He's going to pull the first baseman off the bag. It was a really nice play over there by the third baseman. But again, lots of speed on this team for the Lions. And Woods was going to beat that throw either way, I think, as the Lions now have runners at first and second. 3-1 as McKay steps in. I think they're expecting a bunt here. The first baseman's moved well in on the grass. He's going to show bunt. He's going to bunt it back towards the catcher's going to come up, glove it. Throws the third, and he keeps his foot on the bag. Well, I thought that we might have come away with one right there. So McKay's going to go down to first. And that's going to bring up Sean Keene, the DH. So 2 outs. Peterson at second, McKay over at first. That pitch is going to be well off the plate. First time we've really seen Pittman have to pitch out of a jam here, so. See if the Lions can continue this rally. Got a big hole between third and shortstop. And it's going to be a swing and a miss right there from Keene. So 1-1 count. Love to see Sean stay back on this and drive it right between that big gap between third and short. Got a big hole. It will score Peterson. He runs very well. And that's a swing and a miss right there. So 1-2 count to Keene. With Vickers on deck, the top of the lineup coming up for the Lions. Like to see this rally continue to move forward here in this bottom half of the fifth. That ball is going to be inside. 2-2 here to Keene. So Peterson off second, McKay over at first. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Swing and a miss. And that's going to do it here for the fifth. Lions are going to get their first run. We're headed to the top of the sixth. Lions trail 3-1. You're listening to Albany Line Baseball on Albany Sports TX.
We're the bank you've always known and trusted, a part of your community for generations. And now, First National Bank of Albany Breckenridge is Clear Fork Bank. We're still privately owned and independent. You'll find the same dedicated team, the same friendly faces, and the same strong relationships with our customers. Our offerings have expanded to better serve you, but our commitment to local banking is steadfast. Clear Fork Bank, serving Texans since 1883.
All right, we're back here for the top of the sixth. Gruver got 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth. For their 3 runs, Lions get 1 run here in the bottom half of the fifth. So 3-1 is where we stand as we get this 6th inning underway. It's going to be Babs, the center fielder. And that's going to be a first pitch ball. Must have been a little low. So 1-0 count here to Babs. That's going to be off the plate 2-0. First pitch did look pretty good, but notice Oliver turned around. I think someone said something and he pointed down like it was low. So Oliver must have felt the same way. And breaking ball, and swing and a miss. 2-1. And he's going to check swing here. Brody's going to look down to the first base umpire, but they're going to say he did not go. So 3-1 count to Babs. So 3-1 here to Babs. And I'm going to say that must have been low, because that pitch, that location has been a strike pretty much all afternoon. So Babs is going to jog down to first with a walk. It's going to bring up the DH Pittman. Pittman's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. He singled back in the third inning. That pitch is going to be into the turf for ball 1. Again, one of those spots where they tend to show some bunts, but Pittman hits more with power, I would think, out of this position than a bunter. He's called strike. Doesn't really show a lot of speed. So 1-1 count here to Pittman. Chapman's going to check the runner back over. Nice catch over there by Fairchild as that's on the other side of the base runner as he dove back in. One of those balls, if it gets away from them, they're definitely moving at least one base. Pitch is going to be in the dirt, 2-1 count. And that pitch is going to be off the plate, 3-1 to Pittman. Showing bunt, I'm thinking he's a full take right here, and it is a full take. He was just kind of trying to distract Clay right there, and that ball was low in the dirt. So 2 walks here to get this inning started, and Fairchild's headed out to the mound. Looks like we're going to have a visit. We're going to take it with them. You're listening to Albany Line Baseball on Albany Sports TX.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 12 million participants in America who take part in high school sports or activities.
All right, so mound visit has concluded. And Greyhounds, again, they've got runners at first and second. 2 walks here in the top of the 6th. As the left fielder, Cud, steps in. First pitch is going to be a called strike. Cud, 1 for 2. Had a single in the third, struck out in the 5th inning. That ball's going to be low. And I don't know if the runner at second was thinking that was going to be a bunt attempt, but he had gotten quite a jump over there, and Aiden was trying to get back to second for a throw, but no throw either way. And here's going to show bunt. He's going to bunt this one over to Callan. Callan's going to tag the runner. So the Greyhounds are going to move the runners over as it's going to bring up the top of the lineup. Satterfield, who was hit by a pitch in his last at bat. He started off that 5th inning, which ended in a Chapman escaping a bases-loaded jam. He's 0 for 2 on the afternoon. That pitch is going to be low and in the dirt for a ball. So 1-0 here to Satterfield. Satterfield does bat at the top of the lineup for the Greyhounds. That pitch is going to be hit towards Vickers. Vickers is going to come home with it, but it's going to pull Oliver off the bag. It's one of those plays that wasn't out of force. So, not a force right there. Oliver was moving away from the batter, could not get a tag. And Satterfield's going to be safe at first, and the Greyhounds now have runners at the corner with Butler. Butler, 1 for 2. He's doubled, and he's walked. Satterfield over at first. I'm going to say he's probably going on first pitch. He's moving already. Swinging a miss by Butler. Satterfield's going to head down to second. I think he was moving before Chapman really even came to the plate right there. That was Butler steps back in, 0-1, 1 out. Breaking ball is going to be inside. So 1-1 here to Butler. And a nice pitch right there by Chapman. He's going to catch the corner, so 1-2. Pitch from Chapman, and that's just going to be low. So 2-2 count here to Butler. That ball is going to be in the dirt and wide. Full count. Satterfield at second. Pittman at third. It's 1 out here in the top of the 6th. And that ball is going to be wide, well off the plate. Butler's going to jog down to first. And that'll load the bases up. So, again, we'll see how they're going to play this. And Fairchild, McCloy, Vickers, and Gleitz have all kind of taken a step towards home plate here. As this going to bring up the second baseman, Cohen. First pitch is going to be a ball. It looks like, I'm not sure if that was inside or low, but 1-0 count here to Cohen. He's also 1 for 2. He's walked as well. That ball is going to be just a little high, it looks like, on the outside corner. 2-0 count. And that ball is going to be low. 3-0 count. And a breaking ball in there for Chapman is going to be a called strike. So nice pitch right there by Chapman. Not sure if he just wasn't really comfortable with his fastball or not. He came back with a breaking ball on 3-0 and put that one right where he wanted. He's going to come back and do the same thing again. So you can see there he's got a good feel for that breaking ball right now. He's come back 2 straight breaking balls. 3-2 count here to Cohen. Going to come back with it, but this time that ball just moved too much, and Cohen's going to walk. The Greyhounds are going to get a run as Coach Fairchild's headed out to the mound, and this will be the second visit. So we're going to have a pitch and change here. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Albany Line Baseball on Albany Sports TX.
We're the bank you've always known and trusted, a part of your community for generations. And now, First National Bank of Albany Breckenridge is Clear Fork Bank. We're still privately owned and independent. You'll find the same dedicated team, the same friendly faces, and the same strong relationships with our customers. Our offerings have expanded to better serve you, but our commitment to local banking is steadfast. Clear Fork Bank, serving Texans since 1883.
Located on Highway 283 South Easy Feed and Supply is your hometown headquarters for complete animal nutrition. We carry lawn and garden, hunting and fishing supplies, along with wildlife and pet feed. Let us load you up in our drive-through warehouse. Need something delivered? We can come to you with our blower buggy to fill your corn and protein feeders, along with delivery of sacked feed and round or square bales of hay. Not only does Easy Feed have all your farming and ranching supplies, it's now the proud home of Parsons Beef, where you can get your prime Wagyu and Angus beef straight from our Texas ranches. Easy Feed and Supply, proudly serving Albany since 2011. Alright, so we're back here in the top of the 6th. Pitch change is going to be Aiden Vickers. He's going to move from shortstop to pitcher, so him and Chapman are just going to switch spots. So Vickers, the freshman, step on the mound. He threw 49 pitches, I believe, in game 2, so look for him to have several pitches here as he's trying to work through this bases loaded jam with 1 out. As the Greyhounds have put 2 runs across the plate here in the top of the 6th. It's going to be Pittman, the pitcher. And that first pitch is going to be off the plate for a ball. So 1-0 count here to Pittman. Pittman 0 for 3 on the afternoon. That pitch is going to be hit over to Gleats. Gleats is going to step on third for 1 out. That's all he's going to get. So a good play over there by Gleats to keep that ball from getting into the left field. Again, that's probably a benefit of being 6'3", 6'4" over there. So he had to go high for that ball. The Greyhounds are going to get another runner across the plate here. They now lead 6-1 with 2 outs. And that's going to bring up Jones. Jones 0 for 3 on the afternoon as well. And looks like that must have been low there. I thought he had another strikeout there. So it's going to be 1-1 here to Jones. Big leader there off of second baseman. That ball's going to be low, so 2-1 count. Be interested to see if Oliver doesn't try to do a pickoff over at second, as the runner has gotten quite the lead over there. Comes up, no throw. So 3-1 count. So Jones is going to square on bunt. I don't think he's actually going to bunt. This ball's going to be inside. And he's going to jog down to first with a walk. That's going to bring up the third baseman, Cohen. So Cohen steps in. First pitch swinging. He's going to hit this one towards the third baseline. Woods charging, and makes the catch. So nice play right there on the fence line by Woods Peterson. And the Lions are going to give up 3 in that inning. We're headed to the bottom of the 6th. You're listening to Albany Line Baseball on Albany Sports TX.
In 2006, there was a vision, and that vision became a reality when the feed store opened its doors in 2012. The feed store is a place where students are fed both mentally and physically. We hold several events throughout the year, along with Tuesday lunches for all juniors and seniors during the school year. We host the famous Running Man event on the last Saturday of October for all junior and senior high students, along with worship nights on the last Wednesday of every month. Our mission is simple. We are a non-denominational youth mission facility where the youth of Albany and surrounding areas have a safe and supervised place to play, study, and relax.
All right, we're back here for the bottom half of the sixth inning. Lions trailing 6-1. As it's going to be the top of the order, Vickers getting the line started here in the sixth. He's 0 for 2 on the afternoon. So Vickers going to step in. And that ball's going to be low for a ball. That ball's hit towards the shortstop. Vickers trying to beat it out. But Satterfield able to get to that ball quickly, and he's going to throw out Vickers over at first for the first half out of this sixth inning, as that's going to bring up Fairchild. Fairchild 0 for 2 on the afternoon. First pitch swinging, hits it over towards second baseman. Second baseman takes one step to his left, throws over. He's got him. That'll be 2 outs. So 2 quick outs here in the sixth inning as Chambers is going to step in, trying to get something going here for the Lions. Chambers 0 for 2 on the afternoon. First pitch swing and a miss. Lions coming out very aggressive here. This is Pittman has not thrown very many pitches in this game, so not a threat to get to any type of pitch count for him. So if you see something you like, they're hacking at it. They're going after it. That ball looked to be inside, but it's gonna be a called strike 0-2. Pitch is going to be fouled back. So 0-2 count here to Chambers with 2 outs. Lions again trying to get a rally going here in this bottom half of the sixth inning. That ball's going to be high, going to get to the backstop. So 1-2 here to Chip. Pitch here from Pittman. Chambers is going to drive this towards center. Center fielder's going back. He'll take about 6 or 7 steps to his right, and he's going to make the catch. And that's going to do it here in the sixth. Lions go 1-2-3. We're headed to the top of the seventh. You're listening to Albany Line Baseball on Albany Sports TX.
Where a handshake is our word, cattle are money, and timing is everything. Western Livestock is a family-owned and operated livestock auction and order buying company with more than 30 years of experience. The buying power in our seats ensures top dollar for your livestock to allow you to keep doing what you love. With sale barns in Oklahoma City, Comanche, and Woodward, Oklahoma, and Knoxville, Iowa, we're large enough to serve you, but small enough to know you. To learn more, call 940-631-2333 or visit westerncommissioncompany.com.
All right, we're back here for the top of the 7th. Greyhounds are going to have Babs, Pittman, and Cudd due up here in this top half of the 7th as Vickers has headed back out to the mound for the Lions. As the Lions trail 6-1 here in Game 3. Again, winner of this ball game will square off with Stanford next week. Vickers' first pitch is going to be a swing and strike. So 0-1 count here to Babs. Babs is 1 for 2 on the afternoon with a walk. Second pitch fouled down towards the third base coaching box and headed down that left field line. 0-2. Vickers sets, and that's gonna get up on top of us, I guess. Yeah, right above our heads. So 0-2 here to Babs. Pitch from Vickers. Gonna be a called strike, so nice pitch right there by Vickers to get the first out. And in steps the DH Pittman. Pittman also 1 for 2 on the afternoon. He's also walked. That looks like that might be just a little low. So ball 1 here to Pittman. That ball's going to be fouled back. Brody's going to try to make a play, see if it'll stay in play. And I don't think it did, so no play right there for Oliver. And take the count to 1-1. So 1-1 count here to Pittman. Nice pitch right there. That's going to be hit towards between the gap. It's going to get under the glove of Peterson. So Pittman's going to round first, head to second, now turns, and he's headed to third. So Pittman's going to be in the third standing up. That's going to be a single. He'll move over to third on an error. And that'll bring up the left fielder, Cudd. 1 for 3 on the afternoon. The first pitch swinging, it's going to hit that one down towards the coach's box over there. So 0-1 count here to Cudd. And it looks like we're going to have a pinch runner. It's going to be number 2, Langford, I believe. Going to run for Pittman over there. Actually, Langford, I think that's his position anyways. That's who Pittman bats for. So Cudd will step back in. 0-1 count here with 1 out. And that one's going to be just high. So 1-1. And that ball's going to be just high and inside. So 2-1 count here to Cudd. So the Lions are trying to keep this game at 6-1 as best they can. Cudd's going to hit that one towards right field. It's going to get down. Kay's going to glove it, and he'll relay it into second. The Greyhounds are going to attack another run on as they now lead 7-1. That's going to bring up Satterfield, the shortstop. Satterfield 1 for 3. He's also been hit by a pitch. And that's going to be fouled back right towards us. Pitch is going to be just foul down the first baseline. So 1-2 here to Satterfield. Cud over at first base. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Greyhounds got 2 runs in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, 3 in the 6th, and added another run here in the 7th. That's how they've compiled their 7 runs this afternoon. That ball's going to be hit foul. So the count's going to stay at 0-2 here. Cud's off and running. Satterfield's swinging. That's going to be foul just outside into the bullpen area. Pitch from Vickers, and Satterfield's just going to poke that one into right field. Okay, charges. He's going to take this on one hop. He'll relay that in back into McCoy. And Satterfield is going to have a 1-out single. As Coach Fairchild's going to head back out to the mound here and have a visit with Vickers. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back. You're listening to Albany Line Baseball on Albany Sports TX. All right, so mound visit is over, and Vickers is going to stay on the mound for the Lions here as the catcher, Butler, steps in. Butler's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. He doubled. He's got 2 walks. First pitch is going to be inside, ball 1. So Cutt is over at second, Satterfield at first. Vickers got a strikeout to start this inning. Followed up with 2 singles, or 3 singles. I mean, that ball's hit very well, and that's going to get over the head of Chambers. Cud's rounding third, as is Satterfield. There's going to be no play at the plate. And the Greyhounds are going to add 2 more runs here. As Butler's going to have his second double of the afternoon. And Fairchild's headed back out to the mound, and that's going to do it here for Vickers. We'll take a short break. You're listening to Albany Line Baseball on Albany Sports TX.
In 2006, there was a vision, and that vision became a reality when the feed store opened its doors in 2012. The feed store is a place where students are fed both mentally and physically. We hold several events throughout the year, along with Tuesday lunches for all juniors and seniors during the school year. We host the famous Running Man event on the last Saturday of October for all junior and senior high students, along with worship nights on the last Wednesday of every month. Our mission is simple. We are a non-denominational youth mission facility where the youth of Albany and surrounding areas have a safe and supervised place to play, study, and relax.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 12 million participants in America who take part in high school sports or activities.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
I can earn that solo!
You saying I did?
Yeah,
All right, so we're back here as Lions have gone to Callan Fairchild. Fairchild pitched a little bit in game 2. Vickers is going to go back over to shortstop. Chapman will move over to third base. Looks like Gleitz is going to take over in center field as Chambers has moved over to first base for the Lions. So the batter will be Cohen. He's walked twice. He's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. As Butler's over at second. First pitch is going to be in there for a called strike. And working that corner of the plate, trying to get that edge right there. Not going to get it on that one. 1-1. So 1-1 count from Fairchild. That's just going to be just a little high. So 2-1 count here. Cohen swung on and missed. 2-2. Nice pitch by Fairchild. Popped up. McCloy's going to settle under it. And McCloy will glove it for the second out. And that'll bring up the pitcher, Pittman. He's 0 for 4 on the afternoon. First pitch swinging is going to send that one out of play down the right field, or down first baseline. And that's going to be outside, ball 1. So 1-1 count here to Pittman. Fairchild threw 30 pitches yesterday for the Lions in game 2. And that's going to be low and in the dirt, ball 2. And that one's just going to be off the plate, 3-1. Fairchild, the 4th pitcher of the afternoon for the Lions. 3-1 count. And it's going to be high. So Pittman's going to jog down to first with a walk, and that's going to bring up the first baseman, Jones. Jones 0 for 3. He walked the last time he was up. First pitch swinging. He's going to pop this one up. Gleitz is going to settle under it. He's going to glove it, and that's going to do it for the 7th. The Greyhounds get 3 runs. They leave 2. We're headed to the bottom of the 7th. You're listening to Albany Live Baseball on Albany Sports TX. Located on Highway 283 South, Easy Feed and Supply is your hometown headquarters for complete animal nutrition. We carry lawn and garden, hunting and fishing supplies, along with wildlife and pet feed. Let us load you up in our drive-through warehouse. Need something delivered? We can come to you with our blower buggy to fill your corn and protein feeders, along with delivery of sacked feed and round or square bales of hay. Not only does Easy Feed have all your farming and ranching supplies, it's now the proud home of Parsons Beef, where you can get your prime Wagyu and Angus beef straight from our Texas ranches. Easy Feed and Supply, proudly serving Albany since 2011.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
I can earn that solo!
You saying I did it?
Yeah!
Come on! What's wrong with you?
All right, we're back here for the bottom of the 7th inning. Do it for the Lions is going to be Oliver, Chapman, and Gleets. Oliver is 0 for 2 on the afternoon as he looks to try to get this rally going for the Lions. First pitch is going to be off the plate, ball 1, so Lions need 8 runs right here to keep this thing going. And swing and a miss right there by Oliver at 1-1. And that one's be hit down the third baseline. I think it's going to work just foul. So Oliver will head back to the batter's box. 1-2 here. As Pittman steps back on the rubber, Oliver down 1-2. And he's going to hit this one foul back over the first base dugout. Pittman is just 3 batters over the minimum. He's had pitched very well this afternoon here in Game 3. Lions were able to get something going in the 5th. Oliver hits this one towards center. Bab's going to take about 3 steps to his right. Love that one for the first out. And that'll bring up Chapman. Chapman was got it going back in the 5th. He has scored the lone run for the Lions here in Game 3. He doubled. He's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. That ball's going to be low for a ball. Pitch swinging, hit towards right field. Right fielder takes a step in. Now he's going to take about 4 or 5 back. And love that one for the second out. So the Lions are down to their final out here this afternoon as Wesley Gleets is going to step in. Gleets followed Chapman's double up with a single back in the 5th. So he's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. That ball's going to get to the backstop. 1-0 count. A 1-0 here to Gleets. That's going to be high and outside. 2-0. Swung on, that's going to be just outside. So a long foul ball down the first baseline. So 2-1 here to Gleats. Weep steps back in. Swing and a miss right here, 2-2. Lions trying to keep this one alive. They're down to their final strike right here. Gleats trying to put the bat on the ball right here, keep this thing going. That ball is going to be inside, ball 3. So 3-2 count to Gleats. Three and two. Gleats going to ground it towards the shortstop Satterfield. He's running down the line. I think he's going to beat it. And they're going to call him out, but we're going to check it. I think that they're going to go ahead and check this. That was pretty close. I think he. First base umpire has held his hand up. The home plate umpire is nearly out the gate here. They wanted to check on this. That was a pretty close play right there at first. I thought we beat that throw, but looks like you're going to stay with the call. So that's going to do it here in Elk City, as the Gruver Greyhounds are going to take Game 3 9-1 here. They're going to take the series, and that's going to wrap up the season here for the Lions. And great job to the Albany Lions and Coach Fairchild. A fabulous season this year. And good luck to the Gruver Greyhounds as they move on to face the Stanford Bulldogs in the regional finals. So that'll do it here from Elk City. Thanks for tuning in to this broadcast of Albany Lion Baseball on Albany Sports TX.